Hey guys, this is Mike and this is another installment of MC Review. Today again I will be dealing with the whole Captain America 3 Civil War discussion that there is going on right now. But first I just want to say congratulations to Guardians of the Galaxy for making 687,000 million, domestically so far, so that's a pretty cool achievement. It opened to 30 million in China, which is, pretty respectable. If you haven't seen the Guardians of the Galaxy gross discussion video I did, I outlined how I thought it was going to make about over 700,000 million, I keep doing that, and it looks like it's on track to that. And in other news, DC has revealed their schedule for movies, and they have a Wonder Woman movie coming out in 2017, so it looks like Marvel has lost the race to have the first female-led superhero movie, but kudos to DC. Alright, now without further ado, the news that is the reason you probably clicked this video. There was a report by Variety, that Captain America 3 would be dealing with Civil War because Robert Downey Jr. was signing on. They said to appear as a villain in it, which, leads us to believe a Civil War storyline. BadassDigest, another source, said that they were sitting on some news and the person was waiting for his editor to push it through, but now that this leak happened, he's saying that, he or she is saying that, it was going to be either called Fallen Son or Civil War. Fallen Son dealt with the, Death of Captain America and how people reacted to it. It was a short comic series. And he was saying Captain's team is going to be, major spoilers by the way guys, so if you don't like spoilers, stop watching, was going to be like Falcon, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, but Black Widow would have a smaller part. It kind of confirms what Variety said, but it's interesting. It seems like there's a lot of evidence now that Captain America 3 will be Civil War. I know there's all the evidence before that I talked about in my last video, all the reasons that people think this will be the movie that Cap 3 will be, and that Avengers 3 may not be Thanos anymore, or Thanos will come in when the world is kind of thrown into chaos by all this infighting. I personally said in the last video that I don't really think Captain America 3 will be Civil War. I could be wrong though. I do have to admit the evidence is strongly in favor of it. But I personally think, obviously, the most clear option that many people believe is that Captain America 3 will be Civil War. Robert Downey Jr. will have a lot of scenes in it. The other heroes will obviously be pulled into it, and the movie's going to go in that direction. I believe that the movie, which the Russo brothers said, and they're the ones directing it, that it would be a game changer. I think it will lead to Civil War, or start Civil War. I don't think the entire movie will predominantly be the 20 heroes fighting each other and already, everything happening with that. It'll be interesting to see which prediction is right. I'm just leaning towards the second one because I think we need a little more setup to get to the point where Civil War is right, and Marvel's not one to push things prematurely. Also, just the fact that RDJ is signing on doesn't necessarily mean that it will be Civil War. It might lead up to Civil War in the same way that Captain America 2 ended with the Marvel Cinematic Universe being changed like that. But I mean, if Variety is right with their report that it will indeed be Civil War, I'm not sure. It could also be titled Civil War and still just end up with the Civil War happening and have RDJ and Captain America at odds throughout the movie, and then end in a Civil War-esque atmosphere. It's really hard to say at this point. All we have is speculation. There's a lot of news going around about this. A lot of people think that this is the reason that the Sony Spider-Man deal between Marvel seems like it's so plausible, because an event like this would be a huge boost to Spider-Man and to the Spider-Man franchise, which is in Sony's best interest, and having Spider-Man for this movie, because of what Civil War was in the comics, would be in Marvel's best interest. So, I mean, it does seem like it's adding up. I mean, there's all the foreshadowing happening with Thanos, which does seem like Avengers 3 will be Thanos, but you never know. Honestly, we kind of just have to wait to see for sure. Another thing that I don't find very plausible with BadassDigest is the fact that Vision would be at odds with Tony Stark. In the comics, Vision obviously is just an android created by Ultron. Here, Vision we know will be Jarvis, and it seems a little weird that Jarvis would be at odds with Tony Stark unless the Vision android develops some moral code where he believes that Captain America is right. It's a lot of stuff up in the air. I just wanted to touch base now that the new BadassDigest has come out and delve into a little more why I think it may not necessarily be Civil War. calling it Civil War Fallen Sun does almost guarantee that Cap will die at the end of it, or at least be shot in a similar way, which is weird considering Chris Evans has a 6th movie, and unless they choose to do some like crazy, like, well, he actually came back from the dead type thing, which doesn't always work so well in movies, they would be just shunting that final Chris Evans movie, and he wouldn't show up in Avengers 3 or Avengers 4. I don't know whether to find, to believe that. I find it hard to believe that they'll kill him off in this, especially because they do want to introduce Thanos, and one of the most famous like comic strips with Thanos was the part where Captain America stands up to him and says, as long as one person fights against or stands against you, whatever, Thanos, you cannot claim victory. I don't know the exact quote, but if you know what I'm talking about, it's a pretty monumental moment in the MCU that a lot of people wanted to see on screen. And I don't know, I find it very hard to believe that they wouldn't use that moment in the MCU, but I will default to Variety Badass Digest and say that they know more than me. However, rumors like these can be wrong, so, we'll just have to see. Age of Ultron is supposed to shake things up, is what Badass Digest said, so I guess we'll see where things stand at the end of it. Some people said that Civil War was kind of like against the characters' personalities, like, didn't really make sense for them to always be doing what they're doing, which is similar to what people are saying in the MCU right now. Tony Stark, who is very anti-government, and, was steadfast that the Iron Man suit is his, he didn't want to give it to the government, he didn't play nice with S.H.I.E.L.D. I find it hard to believe that even if he created Ultron, he wouldn't go from standing with the Avengers, he would go to standing against them, and just 180ing to supporting the government and wholeheartedly believing that superheroes should be robbed of what, of their freedom, of what belongs to them. I know that Badass Digest said there's no secret identities in the MCU, so the whole Superhero Registration Act thing won't work exactly. They might still want them to be government agents. I don't know, but it just doesn't line up with the way Tony is in the MCU right now. So it might be a little forced. Feel free to weigh in on why you think it will happen or why you think it won't happen. I've given a few reasons of why I think it won't happen, or they'll have to use this movie to at least set up Civil War and make it so Tony does seem like somebody who would do that. I think they would need a little more time if they wanted to portray Tony in that light. But that's just my 2 cents. I'll be continuing to follow this as the story progresses and as new information comes out. So you can always look forward to that. You can like, comment, and subscribe as well. I always appreciate that. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. It is pretty exciting for the MCU. So MCU review out.